Hello viewers, I'm SB. Welcome back to Last Call BBS. Look, we're just gonna play a lot of Dungeons and Diagrams today. We'll get to the other stuff. We totally will. I love this game very much. Okay, so just leaping right in. That's a wall. This is the treasure room. Do we know this stuff? Like, obviously this could be the rest of the treasure room and then wall all that off. That's pretty easy. But also, actually, no, there's only one open tile here, so this is the rest of the treasure room. Okay, so we know that. We also know this, because no dead end. We also know what else? Nothing else about that right now, I don't think. That's obviously a wall. This is very irresponsible to just, like, leave your treasure room undefended. If this is a wall, very embarrassing for this poor mind flayer. But, you know, it could be the case that this is just a very well guarded treasure room entrance. That's a sensible way to do that. So yeah, we don't know. This could be an opening. If this is a wall, well, no, actually this can't be an opening. It must be a wall, because if it is an opening, then the rest of this, obviously that column is bad. Okay, so we know that. This also must be a wall. Oh, I guess, sorry. We know that these spaces adjacent to the mind flayer have to be walls, so that gives us a lot of information. All right, where is the opening here? We don't really know, actually. I mean, it is over here. That's definitely true. So there are two tiles. Okay, well, this has to be a wall, and those have to be open. The two open tiles can't be like, this is the entrance to the treasure room, and then this is just a turn, because then this stuff all gets locked off. So there's a way out of the treasure room to the south, and there's a way up to the monster quarters from there. That being the case, and so we know this isn't the opening to the treasure room because there's only one more open tile in this column. So that's something. This could be a wall, and then also that be a wall, right? Pretty easily. What else do we know? This is mostly open. This is mostly open. There's definitely a lot more open space in these later puzzles. These dungeons they're getting airier. They have better flow. They're not going to be as dank as you want them to be. I'm just saying, like, I'm not an expert in dungeon design, although actually, yes, I fucking am. But you can't leave this amount of open draft space. I mean, I guess it matters which monsters you're talking about, because, like, some monsters want more of a dank. Probably some monsters would prefer a little bit better airflow. Okay, let's talk about the walls in this column. So, like, this can't be the case, right? Because obviously that creates a weird situation in the corner. One of these two is a wall, at the very least, which means this is a wall, because obviously we can't have this situation. So that's a wall. Two of these three are, or one of these three. One of these three is, and it can't be these two open. No, it totally can be these two open, and then that one's a wall, and the thing runs down like this. Yeah, absolutely it can be. This can't be a wall, though, because then obviously, yeah, so this is how that is shaped, which means this is how this is shaped. And we have two more wall tiles. They have to be here, which means this has to be open. This could be a wall. In fact, it must be a wall. Again, the 2x2s. This could be a wall, is what I meant. Doesn't have to be, but it could be. if this is a wall, it's very easy for all of these to be open. This is the fourth wall in this row. Yeah, in fact, is that necessarily the case? Like, this is open. The wall can't be here. We know that's open. If it's here, then this is open. And yeah, that creates a weird situation. It's like that and like... Yeah. So I think, in fact, this is necessarily the case. Right? This is... Well... It's actually... No, it's not. Hold on. I know this, but this column, this row has to have another wall in it. It has to. So that actually does complicate things somewhat. There's exactly one more wall here as well. And if that's the case... Or no, sorry. There's two of these are walls. We really know less than I would like, given how close we are to finished with this puzzle. We have a lot of information and then a lot of like places where there are two valid layouts and... So, okay. This being a wall, that being a wall, is a pretty clean situation over here. This can't be the position of this wall. This can't be the position of this wall, nor this. But like, if this is this wall... Okay, if this were this to be where this wall was... Is like that valid? No, because two of these are walls. That creates a dead end no matter what. So, okay, this does have to be the case down here. Which means that has to be where that wall is. Which means these are both walls. That is the open space in that column, or in that row. And then two of these... And it really could be any two, actually. And then one of these and one of all of these. Well, I guess we know this is open. Which means this has to be open and that has to be closed. Which means this has to be open. Which means we did something wrong. Yeah, because there's no valid... You know, that forces us to do that. And that's definitely wrong. No, wait, did I miss math somewhere? I just like I visually corrected the thing. I didn't check the math again. I don't know what happened. My brain is what happened. And it can be... Listen, it can be very difficult to cope with for everyone. Me most of all. Okay, so this column is definitely part of the treasure room. Am I sure about this? Yes, because this isn't. So these four spaces are definitely part of the treasure room. We don't know what the last column or the last row is at the moment. And then again, we have that situation where this is like one wall is where the treasure, or one of the one wall is at one side of the treasure room. And the opening is in this column. So, since we know the treasure room is not in this row, No, that doesn't really tell us anything. Okay. The presence of the 5s up here definitely suggests to us that these are the 3 columns of the treasure room, but they don't make that certain. It could be well, I guess actually we know this 5 isn't part of the treasure room. It's either this 3 or this 5, but it totally could be 3 treasure room spaces and 5 wall tiles. No, it can't. Never mind. One of the open tiles is already used. So in fact, we know that the treasure room is in these 3 columns. Okay, good then. Glad we got that straightened out. So I guess we know this is open because we know the one wall tile in this column must be adjacent to the treasure room, and we don't know too much else about the position of it aside from that, because we don't know where the last row of the treasure room is yet, but it's compelling. So here, in this position, it really is the case that it could be 3 tiles of open and then 5 walls aside from that. And this could be the end of the treasure room. For the moment, that is still true. It's definitely less likely, though, than the treasure room still just being in this row. Okay, I guess we know this is open. And as such, we know that's a wall. We know the same thing in the other corner, because these corner spaces have to be valid. And actually, that gives us this whole thing, which is cool. So since that's adjacent to the treasure room, we know that this is the treasure room now, which gives us all of this. Which means this is a wall to avoid creating dead ends. That and that are now certain. Okay, cool. That's actually like a ton of information. And this. Yeah, there we go. That was the solve. That one piece of information was the entire solve. Ooh. Check out the adorable slimes. So they've given us something to start with. Obviously, slimes love dead ends. That's also a wall. I guess we know that. We know from the 6. From here, what do we got? So we know that one of the 3 spaces adjacent to the slime in the top and bottom rows is open. We don't know a whole lot about it beyond that. There's only 1 more row in this column, or wall in this column. There's 2 more here, 3 more here. Only 1 more here is interesting. So we know it can't be... It has to be there. Doesn't it? Yeah, it has to be here to avoid the creation of a 2x2 space. So we know all of this. Which means that we know all of this, which completes this row as well. And if that's the case, then we have these. Both of those are walls. Both of those are walls. Okay. The triumvirate of the planar keep. I appreciate that they're triumvirate. There's like a tiny bit of diversity going on. So this is a wall and this is the treasure room. Some nice easy definition on that one. Do we know for certain where... Yeah, okay. So this row has a break. One of these two tiles is open, which means that's the entrance to the treasure room. So we know a bunch of stuff, actually. That tells us much. If two of these are wall tiles... I mean, they have to be the middle ones, because otherwise we create a dead end. Yeah, and so this is also true. Okay, cool. One of these two is a wall. All of these are open, and that means we know that. The one wall in this column has to be adjacent to the Mind Flayer, so it has to be here to avoid creating a dead end in the corner. Yeah, there we go. This one came together remarkably quickly. It might just be the case that this is like the easiest of the puzzle games in the pack. That could be true. I could absolutely see that being the case. There's an argument to be made. So this has two... Well, this must be a wall. We know that. Which means all of these are open, which means that's... Yeah. That's all a wall. None of these monsters are keeping an eye on the treasure at all. I think that's the thing that's necessarily true by the rules of puzzle design, and it makes the monsters seem so irresponsible. So this is all true, which means that is all true, which gives us actually a pretty, like, it sure looks like this is just one long hall that all of the enemies are adjacent to, doesn't it? There is a single wall tile somewhere here. It could be in any of these interior spaces. It totally could. Okay. This space is part of the treasure room for sure, because this column isn't. And neither is this row, actually. So it's those two plus one vertically and horizontally. And actually, I guess we know it's also here because this row only has two more empty spaces unspoken for. And that makes it pretty likely to be here as well, but, you know, this is not impossible. You can't work off of pretty likely. So... we know very little about where the walls adjacent to the treasure room have to be. Yeah, very little. And in fact, the entrance to the treasure room could run between a pair of golems, right? Totally could. Okay, so... oh, I guess we know this. Do we? No, wait. These could both be walls. Could both be. Yeah. And then there would only be three. Yeah. Never mind. Never mind. We don't actually have a good idea where the walls are here. The corner's likely. I guess the corner's necessary. If there's only one open space left, it can't be here because this can't be open while that's a wall. So we know that. And given that we know this is a treasure room tile, we also know these things. And these things. And that does, in fact, give us the rest of the treasure room. Okay. So we know that. And that is an awful lot of closure right there. So these are both, yep. This is all open, so that's a wall. Do we know? Okay, we know that these are all walls. That helps to close the shape a little bit. All right, it was exactly the thing that intuitively it looked like it probably was. But like, again, we can't work off of probably this is what it looks like. No guessing. Guessing is bad. Okay, 6. Well, that's got to be a wall. Right, because these two can't be the open spaces. They're probably both walls. But sadly, only probably. The fact that there's only one wall in this row is definitely interesting. So at least 2 of the, what I assume are supposed to be bug people, 2 of the Thrycreen have their openings to the south. And if that's true, then I guess we know this, right? This guy's opening could be to the side, and these 2 could both be south. In fact, we know that that one's opening is south. And that gives us this whole column. And this. And this. Yeah. Okay. So there's 4 tiles. 2 of these 3 are closed. So we know that's a wall. Do we? No. No, we totally don't, because it could be, like, this could be the approach on this monster, right? Yeah, and in fact, that's, like, extremely fitting. Actually, I guess we know all of this stuff is wall, at the very least. This probably is as well. But we can't be certain about that yet. Okay, we do know that's open. It doesn't give us this. 3 of these 4 are walls. But yeah, we don't know that yet, because if this is wall, then this can be open. And if this is wall, then this can be open. There's only 2 total wall tiles in this row. There's a lot of places where we're very close to knowing the makeup of the row. It's just like a single piece of information is going to cause a cascade, as is often the case. So we have 5 tiles here, 3 of which are walls, 8 tiles here, 3 of which are still walls. 6, 2, 3, 6. Okay. So this is an open tile, right? These both have to be closed because the other open tile in this row has to be, I guess it doesn't have to be there, but it has to be the one that leads off of this guy. One of these 3 tiles is open, right? So if it's this one, then that tells us how this row is shaped right there. If it's this one, The rest of this row is closed, and this has to be the other open tile in this row, because we have to be able to go up. If it's over here, this has to be the other open tile, and it's fine for this guy to be completely surrounded by walls like that, because this could still be his opening. But basically, we know one of these 3 tiles is the other open one, so we can do that safely. We also know this from that. How much does that help? Some? Not a lot, honestly. So 2 of these are open, 2 of them are closed. Here, only one of these is a wall, which is kind of interesting. If it's this one, it can't be this one. Because if it was this one, this would also have to be a wall, and that would put too many walls in this row. So this could be a wall. Exactly one of these 2 is a wall. One of them is a wall, the other one's open, leading to that space. So what does that give me? Well, there's only one wall tile accounted for in each of the, or unaccounted for, rather, in each of these columns. So one of them is this, and the other one is here. So exactly one of these 2 is a wall as well, which we kind of already knew. We had a suspicion. Here's the thing. If this is the wall, this can't be open. So that's the arrangement. Wait, if this is the wall, this has to be here. This has to be open. And that's the arrangement, and that's impossible. So this has to be like that. Yes, that's the only legal arrangement for those 2 columns. Okay. So there's 2 open spaces in this column. It could be the case that these are both walls and these 2 are open, leading to the approach over here. This one can't be a wall by itself. Like, it can't be this is a wall and that's open. It's legal for both of these to be walls. Is it legal for both of these to be walls? No. So is this one definitely open then? Let's see. This is not right. This is not right for the same reason. So if this is a wall, this one's also a wall. Is it legal for this one to be open? Yeah, totally. Right? This works. So this one has to be open then. There's no legal arrangement where this one's a wall. Yeah. Okay, that's something. This can be a wall. This has to be a wall. Yeah, and then the other tiles, one of them's a wall and one of them's open, but both of those arrangements are legal. Okay, we're making our way through it, slowly but surely. So one of these 2 is open, meaning that's definitely a wall. This can't be a wall. Well, no, this can be a wall, if that is 2. And it can't be because there's only one wall in that column. Right. Right. Okay. So that's also open. I mean, it's not a huge surprise. We knew there was only one wall in this column anyway. Or in this row. So we know all of that. We have this figured out. 2 of these 3 are closed. This one can't be open then. Well, no, it totally could be. What am I talking about? No, it can't be. Because if this is open, that's closed and those 2 are closed. So we know this is a wall. It is still totally possible for this to be a wall. This can't be a wall. Well, no, it can be if that one's a wall. We don't yet have the information. Oh, no. Once again, it's exactly the same situation. There's only one wall left unaccounted for here. So it can't be here. Okay. That means this is open. That's a wall. So these could both be walls for sure. I think this has to be a wall. Yeah, this has to be a wall. There's exactly one more open tile here. And it can't be that one. It's probably here, but it doesn't have to be here. So one of these 2, I guess we know that, and so we know that. Which means a lot, actually. Tells us a tremendous amount. So wait, this is wrong. Hold on. Right, this has to be true. This has to be a wall. So something isn't right here. Huh. But that seemed solid. And then this is a wall, this is a wall, and then this is definitely wrong. And there's a wall missing from that row. Yeah, I screwed up my logic somewhere, but I screwed it up really late in the puzzle at least. And we could fix it by just looking. Obviously, it's a lot worse to screw up early, because then you end up making a bunch of assumptions that are unfounded, and it breaks everything. So we know that, we know that, we know that, we know this. That's a pretty powerful start. So here we have a 7. Most of these are walls, but not all of them. Okay, so this row is definitely, or this column is definitely not part of the treasure room. So the treasure room is those 6 tiles plus some stuff on the other ends. And I guess it has to be these, because this obviously can't be an exit. So actually, the treasure room is already very well defined. One of these 2 could be either, actually. One of these 2, it has to be this one. So that tells us that. We still don't know where the opening in the big column is. So there's one more wall here, a couple more walls in there. This is probably a 2x2 of walls in here, right? Probably. It could be, though, that, like, it could be something like that, right? And it could be the mirror of that, so we don't actually know the position of very much. Oh, sorry. We found the one empty space in this column. That's actually a huge amount of information. So then we know this and that. We know that and that. One of these 2 Wait, this is wrong. Yeah, something ain't right. This column is, or this row is screwy. How is this row wrong? How could it be? I mean, it is definitely the case that none of these can be walls. So I screwed up pretty badly somewhere. Let me restart this one. This is one where I made a bad move early, and it's going to cost us. Okay, so we know that. That's for sure. We also know that. We know that the space in this column south of the treasure room is the entrance to the treasure room. Which means that we know... We know that those two tiles are walls, for sure. Yeah, and so this is the treasure room, then. That part's pretty ironclad, actually. I feel very certain. Okay. We know that this is a wall because the two of these three tiles are walls, and it can't be these two because then there's this portion of the hallway is separated from the rest of the map. I guess we can go ahead and put those dots down. Those are true for sure. So I screwed up around here somewhere. I guess we do know that. We do know all of that. So now 3 of these 4 tiles are walls. The position of that last open space is vitally important. Do we know this? Yes. Right? This can't be a wall because that would be a dead end. So that's correct. One of these two is a wall, but it actually could be either. Yeah, it totally could be either. Okay, if this is a wall... No, never mind. That doesn't tell me anything yet. Yeah, we still don't really have... I feel pretty solid up to here. But here we have less information than I would like. So the fact that one of these two is an opening, but exactly one of these two is an opening, means that the tile to the south of that one is also an opening. So that tells us that this is not the way these blocks are arranged. The 2 blocks in this column, or in these 2 rows, it is either this or the mirror. And I guess it's not that, so there we go. Okay, yeah, that seems more correct to me. That seems more capable of being correct. And then this column only needs one more. There we go. Yeah. I don't know exactly where my bad assumption was there, but I am, overjoyed not to have made it again. Okay, so the Artificer's Museum. There's never just one golem. If you see a golem, I have bad news for you. There's already a million more of them within your walls. 6. Okay, well, we know it's not these 6, right? This has to be a wall. I don't think that tells us a tremendous amount, but we know that. Okay. This guy has an opening here or here. In either case, that opening connects to an opening that's there. Again, not hugely meaningful, but it is a real fact. What else do we know? Because if you can just keep cludging together like individual things you do know, they turn into an actual solution at some point. Little tiny pieces of deduction. We gather them all together and they begin to form a beautiful picture, like a jigsaw puzzle. So the same thing's true over here. No, it's not. This is a valid approach to this monster, so this could be a wall in that case. So... okay, you know what? The fact that there's only 3 empty tiles in this column is actually kind of interesting. Yeah, there are so many monsters. Actually, it's pretty interesting here too. So, like, that is not the answer, right? We know this isn't the case. This can't be the only opening, because if this is the only opening, then this has to be a wall and it creates problems. So we then know that this is a wall, which does tell us some stuff. And this must be the case, so that's a wall. Okay, yeah, that's useful. Now, we have 4 spaces left, 3 of which are walls. Hold on, I just saw something else. Of these 3, 2 of them must be walls, and it can't be these 2 because then we have a dead end. So, one of the spaces adjacent to this golem is open, which means that is definitely a wall. And this is definitely a wall. Yeah. Okay. We have 3 openings, or sorry, we have 3 walls and 5 openings here. 1, 2, 3. So actually, 2 of the remaining 3 tiles here are walls. And we know it's not these 2. We know that is a wall. If that's the case, this must also be a wall. So that's all information. Yeah, in fact, that's kind of a lot. Then we know this as well, which gives us a bunch of closure here. So that's open. One of these 2 is a wall. We don't know which yet. Could actually be either. Okay. So we have a lot of space in here, a significant amount of which is actually going to be open. Yeah. Okay. Where else do we know stuff? Where else do we have actual information? A lot of this row is open. One of these two is closed, while the other one is open. And that means one of these 2 is closed and the other one is open. But that's not really so informative, sadly. Okay, how about this? 2 of these 3 are walls. which means that's definitely a wall. If that's the case, then this is the case, which again is actually kind of a lot of information. So you're an open space. You two are both walls. That means this has to be open, giving us that position. And look at that. I mean, that's basically a solution right there. So we have one wall here and one wall here. These are both open. Honestly, like, they're supposed to be scary. They have the angry eyes. They have what I assume is a very shouty looking mouth. But they just look like kind of angry Domokun. Like, I don't know. I think they're pretty cute. I'm starting to think that maybe I'm not interpreting the handymate correctly. Because if it is in fact the case that these are both Dungeons and Diagrams related, are they both right at the end? At this point, we're just boogieing. Okay, spooky satyrs, spooky scary satyrs. 3 of these 4 are walls. That's interesting. Okay, so we know this column doesn't have any treasure room in it. We don't know anything else about the treasure room at this moment, which means this tile is for sure part of the treasure room. Oh, actually, what we do know that the one wall here is adjacent to the treasure room, so we know this is open, which actually does give us some good information to work with. This is a wall if one of these 2 is open. But I don't think we can... Oh, I guess we know this too. Yeah, I don't think we can jump at too much else. Oh, actually, the fact that this has only 5 open spaces, but we know some of them are down here, tells us the columns of the treasure room. It is still totally possible... Yeah, it is still totally possible for the treasure room to be in this row. Yeah, we don't know anything about its rows. There's a pretty broad space still. That could be treasure room. Oh, I guess we know this is closed. Because if this was open, then that would have to be closed, and that's bad. So that's an opening, that's an opening, that's an opening. Yeah, don't know anything about that. Don't know anything about the one wall in this column. Okay, slowly. So we know this is a wall. And basically that tells us that these are both walls. So if this is the treasure room, and we know that the entrance then is here. Well, we know this tile's open either way, right? Because this is either the entrance or it's treasure room. This has to be wall, right? Yeah, because either this is open... Yeah. So this is definitely wall. Is that also true here? Yes. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So this has to be wall... because this has to be open. We're trying to prevent the creation of a 2x2. This doesn't have to be wall. This could yet be a thing. Okay. The wall in this column is definitely going to be above the treasure room, actually. Yeah, it has to be. Well, no, it doesn't have to be. If the treasure room is like... No, it does have to be, now that we know this. Because this can't be the treasure room. There would have to be a wall here and a wall here in that case. So if this is the treasure room, obviously that can't be the opening because that would also have to be open. So we know that the wall is above the treasure room. We also know the treasure room doesn't exist in this tile. And that can't be right because that creates a dead end. So actually, I think we know this. I think we know this is the treasure room. This is the entrance. Nope. Never mind. Definitely not right. Am I wrong? The wall has to be adjacent to the treasure room because the other side of the treasure room is just an open space. Isn't actually true if the treasure room is adjacent to the wall. Right? If this is the treasure room, this space the one wall in this column can be here. There doesn't have to be an open space adjacent to the treasure room necessarily. Yeah, and in fact, the treasure room fits really well here. So we know this is a wall because we know this column is this plus the treasure room plus 4 walls. And this space can't be treasure room because it would be adjacent to this. That would break everything. So this is definitely wall, which means this column is definitely treasure room. No, if the treasure room's up here, it absolutely can be the case that this is all wall and the break in the treasure room is in the 7 column. I guess we know this. That's something I could have filled in by now. Okay, so if this is wall, these both have to be open, and they can't be. Yeah. So this is not the wall, which means this is the wall, which means this is the treasure room. Has to be the case. Has to be the case. So this could be the opening. The opening could be over here as well. In any case, we know that. We know this is an opening. Those are the positions of the walls. We know that. This is an opening. So those are the walls in that row. So this is an opening. And that tells us that the entrance to the treasure room is right there. Okay, sorry. Only one of these is a wall. And we don't actually know where that is. I guess we know this. Yeah, we definitely know that. Okay, so then we know this is a wall. Because there has to be an opening in one of these 2 tiles. These are both open, which means that's the wall in that column, which means those are both open. And yeah. Okay. I'm going to try to just push to the end of this line, I guess. See what happens. So that's all settled already. Is there any place else that is? No, there's no place else that is so obvious. Okay. So what do we get out of this? There's only 3 walls on this row. But I think the answer might be precious little, actually. Okay, if this is 6... 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles that are adjacent to monsters. At most, 2 of them can be open. And I guess this must be. No, not necessarily. This could be the open tile. And then, right? So for this guy, one of these 2 is open. Could be like that. Could be like that. So we don't really get a lot of information. Yeah, we really, really don't. Because, like, these two could be the openings. And then that is... Oh, no, wait, sorry. This guy is one of the spaces. So there's only one other open space in this column, or in this row. And that means it has to be here. Right? Because, like... This guy... Obviously, that doesn't work. Yeah, it has to be here. This has to be the way that both of those slimes are accessed. Yep, that's for sure. Okay, that's information. And then 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's not anything yet. We have 4 tiles here, 3 of which are walls. Which tells us that it's these ones because the one empty space... Sorry, I keep forgetting to count the monsters. Actually, we already knew those are the 5. Yep. Yup, we already knew those are the 5 tiles. So here, this can't be a wall. This can't be a wall, so these two... One of these two is. We don't know which one yet. We know that these are all... I'm not counting. Whew. Okay. Take a deep breath there. Just breathe a little bit, Sawan. Just think things through. Okay. I guess we know this now. We know that this is an open space, so this guy's enclosed. Do love an enclosed slime. 4 of these 5 are enclosed as well. There's a single entrance from the bottom part of the puzzle up to this row. Which means that these have to consolidate somewhat, right? Wait, isn't that a problem? No, 3 of these 5. Again, not actually counting. That would have been a problem. Had there only been one opening here, we would have definitely been doing something wrong. Unfortunately, yeah, we don't know anything about this. Okay, we know that these 2 spaces are open. This space can't be open for a variety of reasons. Two of these 3 are closed. Two of these 3 are walls, and this time I'm actually right about that. Can it be these 2? Yes. This actually has to be a wall. And then it is one of the other 2. Either of the other 2 actually could be the thing. So only one of these 3 spaces is a wall, which is interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of mobility here. I guess we know that this isn't a wall unless this also is a wall. And that can't be true because there's only one wall unspoken for here. This must be open. This could still be a wall, but this must be open. Here, 2 of these are walls, which is... Yeah, could be either... That's fine in every possible combination. We don't yet know anything there. In this column, 3 of these 4 are walls. Could be the case that these are walled off and those just climb up. So, okay. This is not right. Right? Because this has to... That would make this a 2x2. So we know that space is definitely a wall. If this is a wall, then this would also have to be? No, wait. If this is a wall, then these are both open. Yeah, if this is open, that's actually... No, hold on. I don't think this can be a wall. Because there's only one more open space in this row, right? So that would necessitate this being open to get these down here, and then that would wall all this off, and that's a dead end. So this is definitely an open space. And if that's true... I do think it's perfectly legal for either of these to be open. Either one of those is fine. But we have then narrowed down which of these ones are walls. And that means this can't be a wall anymore. That dead end rule is very important. This has to be open, which means this has to be a wall. So one of these two is the other break here. This is open. Two of these are walls. Ah, not that one. That column's already completed. Okay. Easy. Look at how scoured those halls are. Actually, most slimes are like approximately made of acid, so I bet those halls are, in fact, very scoured. We still have a lot of puzzles left to go, and geez, I'm already at an hour. I mean, these are, they're slowing down. I'm going to do one more, because I want to hang out with the Skeleton King here. Hopefully that's comprehensible to y'all. So we know that that's the wall in that column, or in that row, which gives us a lot of information about the treasure room. It can't be here. It could be in these spaces, so like it's definitely in these spaces. I guess we know this as well. Is it possible for the treasure room to be here? Then all of those are walls. Yeah, totally. I think yes, that is totally possible. So we got to be careful about this dude. We don't really know anything about where the entrance to the treasure room is going to be. There's a lot of possibilities. Let's see. So this has this guy plus 3 treasure room tiles plus another open tile. But exactly one other open tile. Yeah. Which is actually interesting. So this column has skeleton and 3 treasure room tiles. We know that. There's also 3 walls, which means the one remaining space is an open tile. So yeah, if there's exactly one open tile in this column that isn't part of the treasure room, and that isn't this, then that's very limiting for this skeleton, right? Because the path from this skeleton has to go west at some point. It can't go north into the treasure room because the treasure room can only have one entrance. So one of these 2 tiles basically is open. What we're deducing is that this is definitely a wall. This skeleton's opening is over here. So we know that, basically. I guess we kind of already did. Like, that was deducible from the position of the treasure room as well. So one of these 2 is open. This is definitely a wall. Well, no, sorry. If this is open and that's a wall, this can still be the treasure room. Yeah. And this could be the opening. This could be the wall, right? No, that's not possible. So yeah, if one of these two is the opening, then we have treasure room. Yeah, what if one of these is a treasure room, one of these is a wall? These two tiles here. It's not really that helpful, sadly. So if there are 3 walls in this row, it is totally possible for them to be here and here. Yeah. What else do we actually know? Okay, we know exactly one of these tiles is a wall. No, we don't. These both could be open. As long as there's a wall here and here, these both could be open, and that's absolutely possible. Okay, there's only one more wall in this column, which is actually interesting. So it's the wall at the south side of the dungeon, or at the south side of the treasure room. So I think that tells us that this is the case. So this is our treasure room. Yeah, I believe that's correct. Okay. So if there's only 2 walls in this column, they can't be like this, because that would mean these are both open. And if that's the case, then this skeleton, you know, we create a pocket. So what we do know is that the entrance to this treasure room is in this column, which I guess gives us those tiles. So one of these two is a wall, leaving a wall in one of these two positions, and it has to be that one. Does that give us anything else to work with, though? I think if we... So if this is a wall, this is open, this is a wall, and we have a hallway that just runs across the bottom here, which makes sense. It's very doable. I guess this is a wall no matter what, though, huh? If this is open, this must be a wall. Yeah. Yeah, this is a wall no matter what. To avoid creating either a weird dead end or a weird 2x2. And then one of these two is also a wall. Yes, right? This has to be open, I think. Yeah, because like this is obviously an invalid situation for a bunch of reasons. So that's definitely open, which means that's definitely a wall, which means these are also open. And in order for this to be the case, this must be a wall. Otherwise, you're going to get a 2x2. That means that those are both open. The remaining wall in this row is one of those two spaces. And for the moment, actually, no, it must be here. So that has to be open. So that has to be closed. Okay, there we go. That's looking pretty good. All right, so what else can we learn? Exactly one of these tiles is a wall. So it has to be this one. Because otherwise you get a 2x2. 2 of these tiles are walls, and these both have to be open. So it's like that. All 4 of those are good. Yeah, there we go. See, this is what happens when you go outside during the summer. This right here, Do you want to be the Summer King? No, of course not. Because, like, first of all, who would want to be a king? You know what? I'm doing one more. I just like these a lot. All right, so we got a couple of 5s here around the treasure chest. Does the chest have to be here? We have all of these 5s sort of walling things off. Well, okay, so we know that the chest is in these 3 columns at least, because we already have open spaces from these columns spent. And we only have 1 wall here, but again, that doesn't necessarily tell us that there's also an open space adjacent to the treasure room here, because it could just be the treasure room's up against this wall. I guess we know this isn't treasure room because obviously of this. So these spaces are definitely treasure room, and it's either this row right here or this row right here. If this is a... Okay, if this is an open tile, then that's a wall. No, not necessarily. I guess this is... yeah, if this is an open tile, this can be wall or open. And if this is an open tile, this has to be wall. It's really just not very good information yet, is it? No, it is not. The quality of this information is pretty strained, it turns out. Okay, where else can we determine anything? The fact that there's only 1 wall in this whole area is pretty weird. So I guess, hold on. We know this. Neither one of those could be wall. No, we don't know that. Sorry. Neither one of those could be wall with the corner next to them being the open space is what I was thinking. But it absolutely could just be like... Oh, no, that's... Sorry, that is right. I was right the first time. Because there is exactly 1 wall. So it could be in the corner. Or it could be more in the middle. And have the hallway sort of wrap around it. Well, it couldn't be here, though, could it? No, it can't be in this position causing a 2x2. But it could be here or here with the hallway like wrapping around it in a funny way. Or it could be actually in the corner. Both of those are valid. Okay. Not hugely relevant, just working stuff out. So we don't yet know the exact position of the treasure room. And as such, we don't yet know where the entrance is. Actually, I guess we can figure out some stuff about this column, can't we? Because we can know... Like, this space has to be a wall. Whether the treasure room is in these 9 spaces, or the 9 spaces shifted slightly up from that. This is not a valid exit for the treasure room. This can't be an opening either. If the treasure room is here, it is theoretically possible that it runs down like that and there's a wall there. No, it's actually not. There can't be a solid wall south of the treasure room in this row. So that could mean that this is the wall south of the treasure room with a single opening in it, or it could mean that these spaces are treasure room. Could be either. So yeah, we got a little tiny bit of information there. If we could prove conclusively that these tiles were in the treasure room, it would actually give us a lot to work with, because it would close up a bunch of the wall here. It would give us the position of the one wall tile in this column. It's all very meaningful. If in fact the rest of the treasure room is in these tiles, though, we have like no information from that. There's so much that could be true still. Okay. But so I guess the fact that these can't all be wall means that this can't be open, right? Because that was the only situation where that was a valid way to leave the treasure room, I think. Because if it's like this, yeah, all three of these would have to be closed so that there aren't two openings to the treasure room. If it's like this, then obviously that tile can't be a wall anyway. Or can't be open anyway. So that tile's definitely a wall. Now the question, if this is the case, can this be a wall? Or sorry, it's getting a little late. Can this be a wall? And this be open? And the answer is totally yes. So we don't know for sure that this one's closed. This could totally still be open. Yeah, 2 of these 4. Well, we know that if this is a wall, that would also have to be a wall. Yeah. If this is open, this can be either. If this is a wall, that's a wall. And same deal up here. If this is a wall, that is also a wall. Yeah. So it's 2 and 2. They're not split, but I don't have a lot more information than that, sadly. Okay. Let's talk about this 5, maybe? Maybe there's something of interest here. So we have 7 open spaces, 5 of which are walls. 2 of the walls at least are going to have to be adjacent to the treasure room, possibly all 3. If the treasure room is right here, I think that's a valid exit. So we can't guarantee that this tile is a wall. And I guess we can't guarantee any tile adjacent to the treasure room is a wall yet. We still don't have that information. Okay, here's a question about this. Does this row have to be wall open, wall open, wall open, wall open, or vice versa? Like, if we don't do it that way, we're going to end up with adjacent 2x2s, right? If it's like this, yeah, I think so. I think this does have to be alternating. The reason that's interesting is because if this has to be alternating, then we know that the wall in the bottom row is in a corner. So we know those 2 are open. Because either this or this is going to be wall, and it's going to necessitate a corner wall. If that's here, then the rest of this has to be open, which could totally be the case. If it's here, then the rest of this has to be open. And in either case, that spends one of these tiles. I guess we already knew that. Yeah. That's not actually information. Oh. Yeah, it's not actually information. That doesn't do anything for us. Ugh. So there's a 50% chance that this tile right here is a wall. Doesn't have to be, though. It means that once we figure out where the treasure room is, we're probably going to get... a lot of stuff's going to cascade into place really quickly. So there's only 2 more walls in each of these rows, which leaves a lot of room for drawing a path. It is for sure the easiest thing, if this is the treasure room. So if we're right up at, if this is the treasure room, that tile is open. This can be a wall, but that's the only way that that tile can be a wall. Yeah, unfortunately, there's just no way looking at this. There's no way to really pin that down in one direction or the other. Grr. That's very frustrating. This is a really tough one, in my opinion. Okay, if these are both open, the 2 wall tiles here can really be anywhere. Except here, I suppose. Well, no, it could be here if they're both... yeah. If they're both there. And yeah, just about any place could be the 1 tile. We have another 1 over here, which is really interesting. So we have a bunch of... we have a column that's mostly open. Okay, here's interesting. Here's something interesting. If we have decided that this row must be alternating walls, that either spends the wall in this column or the wall in that column. Exactly one of these 2 tiles is open. So what does that do for us? Well, if this one's open, or if this one's the wall, it tells us a ton about this. If this one's the wall, I mean, it gives us a bunch of open spaces, but it kind of doesn't... yeah, it kind of doesn't tell me anything. None of this stuff being open eliminates any other information, like not in a useful way. So if 2 of these 4 must be open, it's possible for the breach in the treasure room to be right there. Yeah. In both of these rows, every arrangement of blocks is still perfectly rational. Well, not every arrangement. Obviously, like, that would be pretty bad. But you know what I mean. There's not enough information to collapse us down to anything really interesting. We certainly can't conclusively divine the open or closed status of any single block. Yeah, I need like one more good deduction. We're so close. There's so many things that are contingent on so many other things. So we could spend both of the walls in this column, or in this row, as tiles adjacent to the treasure room. If we do that, like, this stuff's all open. It's certainly possible. Oh, actually, here's something interesting. If this is true, then we've got this column down to 6 empty spaces, 5 of which are walls, or 6 unknown spaces, 5 of which are walls. So if we knew the identity of this tile, it would actually give us something really interesting to work with. Okay, we have 4 unknown spaces here, 3 of which are walls. Does that give me anything? 3 of these are walls. Oh, actually, yes, that does tell me something. Because at most, one of these 2 tiles can be walls, right? Yeah, so these are both walls, and those are both walls. And that is actually a lot of information. Yep. Okay. Cool. So with that foreknowledge, with that knowledge, it's actually knowledge whose time is probably like a little bit past. Let's see. We know this, so we have to avoid creating 2x2s. We know this must be open, so that must be a wall. That must be a wall. Okay, there we go. That cracked a bunch of stuff. So all 3 of these are walls. And yeah, okay. The treasure room was not up against the thing. Like this and like that. Yeah, okay. That was the piece I needed. And it was there twice, in fact. I just had to see it. You know, when you really think about it, this is kind of like a terrifying dungeon because it does have exterior wall. There's no way to... If you found yourself in there, it would be a very bad day for you indeed. There seems to be no way out. All right. Well, 15 quick Dungeons and Diagrams puzzles. I like this very much. I would absolutely have paid probably at least $10. I would have definitely paid $10 for a game that was just the amount of Dungeons and Diagrams that is in Last Call BBS. This package is so good. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When y'all come back next time, tomorrow-ish, we will be doing something else. I will not just bolt through the rest of Dungeons and Diagrams, I swear. I swear. I will see you then.